Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Joe on Joe podcast. It's me, your host, Joe Slepsky, and today we are celebrating the most epic adventure of the 1980s G.I. Joe animated series. That's right, we are watching G.I. Joe the movie. Released direct-to-video in 1987, G.I. Joe the movie was directed by Don Jurwich and it was written by Ron Friedman. Features the voice talents of Burgess Meredith, Don Johnson, and most importantly, the regular cast of G.I. Joe Real American Hero. That's right, get ready for it. We're talking about Michael Bell, Arthur Burkhart, Peter Cullen, Brian Cummings, Jennifer Darling, Jack Angel, Shuko Akune, Charlie Adler, Earl Bone, Greg Berger, Corey Burton, William Calloway, Francois Chow, Lori Faso, Hank Garrett, Dick Gautier, Ed Gilbert, Dan Gilvezen, Jack Hoffman, Keen Holiday, John Hostetter, Bernie Watson, Buster Jones, Chris Latta, Mary McDonald Lewis, Morgan Lofting, Chuck McCann, Michael McConaughey, Ron Ortiz, Rob Paulson, Patrick Penny, Ponce Ponce, Lisa Raggio, the great Bill Ratner, Neil Ross, Brad Sanders, Ted Schwartz, Sergeant Slaughter, Christopher Tabori, B.J. Ward, Lee Weaver, Frank Welker, Stan Wojno, and of course, Jackson Beck as narration. Whew. Listen, I do not give enough credit to these wonderful, wonderful actors as we do our podcast each and every week. So they absolutely deserve it. What an amazing job they did for both seasons of the show and the movie. Everything about our childhood, absolutely amazing. Thank you, one and all. Now, to celebrate the movie, I invited over every single Joe and Joe guest that lives in the Los Angeles area to record a massive watch-along. As you can imagine, it was a little hectic. There was a lot of people, and a lot of things could go wrong. Now, on the day of taping, here in the studio, we had the amazing talents of Mr. Matt Kyle, Angel Castrejón, Alex Tortora, Bart Gold, Gary Buckler, Jeremiah Stafford, Paul Galliano, Kevin Unbrick, Matthew Plossman, Julius Pantera, Tom O'Connor, and of course, Rebecca Wallenczak-Slepsky. These wonderfully talented people sat down to watch this fantastic movie, and we enjoyed grape soda and chocolate donuts together, and we really had a wonderful time watching Cobra Commander absolutely morph into a snake person. I hope that comes through on the recording. A very special thanks must go out to Mr. Bill Ratner. And as you're listening, you'll understand why. So none of this is possible, us hitting our 100th episode last week, or getting a massive group together to watch a 30-year-old movie celebrating a dormant toy line, without the support of all my Joe and Joe guests and you listeners that have helped me put this labor of love together for your listening pleasure. To my guests, I'm eternally grateful. And here's another list. I'm talking about Christian Cintron, Seek Donnelly, Matt Von Teese, Jeff Taub, Jericho Wilson, Ben Pinserga, Pablo Romero Estevez, Decker Dreyer, Stephanie Goldstein, Stephen Hood, Aubrey Sitterson, Brian Graham, Aaron Harvey, Paul Vieira, Jeremy Vilmer, David Schrader, Will Bell, Christine Blackburn, the great Bill Ratner, Maria Wojciechowski, Chris Runke, Spencer Miller, Jordan Olds, Jason Adams, Scott Peacock, Barry Battles, Joel Selner, Amber Bansack, Jeffrey Vineyard, Chris Goldrup, Michael Feldman, Nick Glassman, Ramel Chan, Brian Kinane, Joe Fan 82, Mario Carmel, Davis Grayson, Adam Miller, Michael Sheridan, Hooded Cobra Commander, Paul Sidaway, TJ Troy, Omar Spahi, Jesse McCullough, Clay Adams, Ryan Leibowitz, Steve Alec. Whew, again, another Murderer's Row of podcast guests, and they made it all happen so we could make it happen for you listeners. Thank you, one and all. Before we start the movie, I need to let you know, we, of course, as all things go in life, there was a hiccup. So the opening first few minutes of the recording are a little rough, but I promise you, get through it, and it will be worth your listening pleasure. Clears up right around the 10-minute mark or so. And then there's a little surprise, a little, we'll say an Easter egg for you dedicated listeners. And before we start the movie, I want to let you know about a couple things that are happening. During January 2018, I'm having a review contest over on Apple Podcasts. Go there, leave me a review, and at the end of the month, I will pull 5 winners out of the new reviews and send you a selection of classic G.I. Joe comic books from my own personal collection. Now, make sure I can identify you. So if you do enter, send an email to joeandjoepod@gmail.com just to let me know that you entered. The contest runs until January 31st, 2018. You should all be following me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at joeandjoepod. Now, let's get started with G.I. Joe, the movie.
Yeah.
We start with the epic Sunbow Marvel production. So this is pre-Marvel Cinematic Universe, everybody, by the way. And get ready. This is the most amazing intro ever produced for a cartoon. The music is popping.
It's very sparkly.
It's very sparkly.
And Cobra's about to get its own theme.
Yeah.
is coming up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
This was supposed to be in theaters. Originally, it was supposed to be in theaters.
I don't know if you guys are aware, I'm a virgin to this.
I have always
Like, I've
wondered
never
what
seen it.
exactly.
Well, it's
Getting
funny
my
you say that because
Opening crotch shot.
yeah,
That was necessary.
Make the cut.
Cobra's attacking the Statue of Liberty in the midst of a Statue of Liberty celebration.
Wow.
That's
Probably since this was '87, I'm assuming this is like the 200th anniversary, like 1776. Or no, it's '86. I don't even know what this would have been.
My dad's name was on that.
211th anniversary.
There's the only major blood appearance in the movie.
Just up there with a
We
bazooka?
have the Great Duke.
Engraved it, yeah.
Finally, for the first time, the Yo-Jo in the show, which has always been Duke's voice, actually matches Duke's animation. It's usually attributed to Flint. This music rocks. We got Skyhawks. The Joes were hiding in the bosom of the Statue of Liberty. Destro gives their leader a bomb to plant. I don't know why Cobra Commander had to go on his own. Does anyone?
It's interesting that it wasn't Serpentor, actually.
Right.
He's been downgraded to average Cobra Trooper.
Yeah. We're about to see one of the best moves ever by Snake Eyes. Here it is. Boom, everybody. Oh my god. Snake Eyes has triple somersaulted into a trouble bubble.
Look at that Alpine move.
Yeah, has
Alpine,
Alpine ever done anything
that-
that cool?
Alpine hasn't done anything that cool since he yodeled the mountain down on people.
Single fist smash of the canopy, by the way.
Oh my god.
Have there been any parachutes yet?
Right in the beginning.
Well, I mean, since people have been falling out of the sky.
How did that not break her wrist? She's flying in a jetpack and she punches a guy wearing a helmet in the face.
What's it
called?
not think he was gonna get done with
Oh, Lady J's a lefty.
And throwing spears, like
with land and air.
It might be, yeah.
I think I remember that being like, oh, hey, they finally mentioned the guys on the boats.
Yeah, even though like the majority of their actions take place on the ocean.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
You need-
A
ocean
lot of
action.
ocean action. And Duke,
Five,
instead of
four,
flying,
3,
That's a
2, 1.
see Duke's using his
And he
noodle.
pushes
puts
off
the bomb on the Cobra
They should
helicarrier.
have blown up in midair.
And by the way, there were a lot of people staffed on that helicarrier. Duke just killed. There's no parachutes.
They're making up for nobody dying on the TV show.
They're like, we're in a movie? We don't need parachutes in a movie. And Duke flies to the top of the Statue of Liberty, waving the flag. Look at that, everybody. Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
Yet all the characters get away.
All of them. They all get
Celebrating the crowd.
Meanwhile, like civilians are bleeding at the base. Get off the crown.
Johnson.
That's right. Rebecca
Beat
Walker.
Don Johnson.
Don
Somebody.
Johnson is the star of this film as Lieutenant
Burgess
Falcon.
Meredith?
Burgess Meredith, the Penguin himself, is Golobulus.
Oscar caliber.
Oscar, of Mice and Men.
Sergeant Slaughter, Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah,
Surprise.
Sergeant himself. Slaughter. Yeah.
how
that's
could he not
Pretty,
believe?
pretty heady stuff, Angel.
Good job, Ruben Cannon and associates.
So there's 3 people in this
Sure,
movie?
Miller.
Impeccable.
Casting's pretty great. Casting's pretty great. And we're opening, as all good G.I. Joe shows open, in a swamp. We've got a terror drone, and there's some kind of creature, like something that looks like a Dianoga from Star Wars. Look it up. It's a reference. Kind of snakily sneaking towards the terror drone. The animation, the camera moves on this are great. The angles they're using are awesome. I'm sitting here next to Matt Kyle. Matt, you're in the hot seat for the start of the show.
Yes. I'm warming it up for everyone else.
Warming it up because you're about to.
That's what I was born to do.
Thank you for finishing that. I appreciate it so much.
We're both that old.
Yeah, we really are. So Matt, what was your recollection of G.I. Joe the movie?
I remember it not coming out in theaters after Transformers the movie, which at the time I kind of walked out feeling very disillusioned. I didn't like it very much. So I saw this when they split it up into 5 parts and aired it in syndication.
That's quite a charity.
I actually remember liking this movie a lot more than I did the last time I watched it. When I was a kid, I liked it a lot more.
But your collective incompetence. Hogwash! What? You dare say?
The fault, most imperial son.
It was basically like that. If that intro doesn't get you hyped,
It's completely genocide. That intro gets you. That intro like gets you hyped up to like go to work.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like if you're ever having a day of like, I don't know, I'm not feeling about get out of bed. You put that intro on, and you're like, Serpentor, his snakes have never been more animated.
No, they came to play
Yeah.
this time around. And one of the things I really remember about this movie is that my mom used to watch these shows with us, and this is one of the only stories of any of the cartoons I ever watched that she ever commented on. And because normally she'd just sit there and watch and she wouldn't say anything, but on this she had 2 comments. First was that Duke's Yo Joe, when he's injured later, she thought it was one of the dumbest things she'd ever seen. And 2, she felt really, really, really sorry for Cobra Commander for the whole thing.
Oh!
She thought it was really sad. And the other time she did that was in the He-Man Christmas special. She thought Skeletor was really sad. She was always
Brave Zaymont and Tomax! You won't let Destro's treacherous assassin...
I agree with your mom. What happens to
I
Cobra
think you
Commander in
placed
this
the wrong
is
bet on this
very
one.
sad.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It really is. His whole
Chris
arc...
Latta's characters got screwed in both movies, Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Yeah, because he's Starscream, right?
Yeah.
And Starscream straight gets killed.
Starscream got what he wanted for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, with that
And then
amazing
Leonard
crown,
Nimoy,
the amazing crowning scene.
And then, which to this day they still make figures of that. And then Leonard Nimoy killed him. But and although that was more merciful than what happens to Cobra Commander in this.
It is true. I do like that in the Transformers movie. They got 2 heavyweights. They have Leonard Nimoy and
yeah, Burgess Meredith is
What was
really
the
good.
thing?
he's so good.
And you botched our desert campaign!
We had won, but you countermanded my order.
Your meddling brought us defeat! Again and again and again!
You're not just a fool, you're Cobra's curse!
What holds all of the different sections of Dr. Mindbender's suspenders together? It's just
All the
individual blocks.
recorded separately.
Yeah.
When they did the episodes, as we learned in our interview with Bill Ratner, they would be in the same room, so they bounce off each other.
That was voice director Wally Burr was very adamant
Yes.
that people record in the same room whenever possible, and it would lead to horrible days where they were all like 20 people were packed in a PO booth with no air conditioning, and they were just all dying and laying down on the floor to get any kind of cold air into their lungs.
Yeah, and apparently he had no care for they had other jobs to get to. He was like, no, we're going to be here for 8 hours to record one grunt.
Wally Burr, who was the voice director in all these Sunbow things, who unfortunately passed away earlier this year, at 93 or 94.
Wow.
I mean, the guy. Voice acting
It's
gigs
like
were like
she
you walked
used
in,
her
you
stick
read your
up
script for 2 hours, you
before,
went to the
and
next
now
gig. But
Yeah.
Wally Burr would keep you there all day to get the performance he wanted and get you to think about the character. And he basically invented voice acting as we think of it today because they had a larger budget because these were made with marketing money from the toy company.
Are all these people who have
So-
family lives,
and
like these guys go home to their wives at the end of the day?
Dedicating yourself to the.
Look, security's been breached.
This may be an assassination attempt! Serpentor
Are all of her weapons just odd creatures she has stashed in that cloak somewhere?
This intruder, head on!
No! We must protect you!
Without you, there is no Cobra.
Yes! Yes! If something happened to Serpentor, it would be tragic!
I was at a screening of this at the Egyptian Theater.
Based on this, I have to assume that it's like the
second
Night's
this movie's
Watch.
ever
You
been
just
done.
And the
sit
Ghost of
there
Orson
and
Welles
you're
showed up.
At 92 years old at this point, gets up and joins the Q&A
quite a
and
few
refuses
subtle,
to take a microphone
not so
because you can
subtle.
hear his voice to the back of the theater.
Oh my God.
At 92 years old.
Oh my God.
And tells the real story where Orson Welles came over and read the words, and Wally Burr read.
So
I used
what
to
he
be a
looks like.
male
Leonard
model.
Nimoy's line because Leonard Nimoy was recording for a few more days.
Yeah.
And Orson Welles realized.
Facehuggers?
How many animals are in this cloak?
Are you giving me reads? And
As many as she
Welles says,
needs.
I would never presume to do that. I'm
And why
reading
can't
Leonard Nimoy's
one
line.
animal
If
be
something
useful in
bounced
more
off
than
of
one
that,
situation?
recorded those
It's like
things.
it's a different
And Orwell goes down
creature
at the
for
script
every
and goes,
person she has.
So you
He
are-
or she has to
Cages
be.
inside them? Are they just sitting in leather pouches?
It's like
I don't know, that cloak flows pretty nicely.
Yeah,
It's like a magician's coat
It's
with.
meant to be weighted
They
down.
left, and Michael Bell, and he died. Orson Welles died 4 days later.
It was really.
And Michael Bell then spread the word that one of Wally Burr's grueling recording sessions had killed Orson Welles. And Burr said to this day or back then, he said to this day, people sometimes still bring that up to him. It's a rumor that circulated all around Hollywood at the time.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I thought an episode of
Did those
Moonlighting
things get bigger in
Orson
flight?
Was Orson Welles on Moonlighting?
Orson Welles was in, he did like a intro to an episode of Moonlighting, and then I think that was his last
Oh my god.
Bruce Willis
performance
killed him?
that aired.
Killed Orson Welles? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
Sybil Shepherd
Well,
totally
Sybil
killed
Shepherd. Well, yeah.
What's amazing is this whole time we've been talking, which this has been an epic
To just grow a new snake?
with
It's an
Pythona.
amazing show. How
Like,
dare you?
That was like 4 minutes of animation of
Oh my
just
God, look at
breaking
her.
into the Cobra
She is
Terrordrome.
fierce.
Is that amazing or what?
Yeah, well, especially from a show where like you spend so much time
Hungry blue eyes.
usually just narrating what's
What happened to that
Yeah,
snake?
like this movie is interesting in that it's not afraid to
The spice
tell
is
the
the
story
worm, the
visually
worm is
in
the
a way that
spice,
the normal
man.
series never did.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And they know how much time they have. They let the story breathe. And frankly, we spend a ton of time with Cobra in the story.
Yeah,
Like it's really a Cobra story.
they're really changing kind of the
clan?
There's a lot of backstory in this movie about Cobra
BT.
and where it comes from.
From a swamp to the Arctic.
I don't care if we have to drive all night. We're gonna be there by morning.
Wait, does Quick Kick have a shirt on?
You start
Tank
to
the
wonder
Entertainer.
like how much was agenda, how
Tried
much was a
it. That's
separate
I got.
plan, what was what was his real goal?
That's R-E-T.
That's a
So
B.
we are.
Is it a B?
Now it's vital.
Can't hear you, mainframe.
Well, dial tone, they're gonna hear about the broadcast energy transmitter all over the world. Pure energy pumped through the air.
I'm
They are just wearing their
side of the
standard
spectrum.
character model outfits.
Quick Kick is not shirtless in this environment.
Which Quick Kick has been shirtless in many a snowy
We
location.
first found him shirtless
Yes.
in the snow.
Look at that
Everyone here
mustache.
has some kind of
Yeah.
snow gear on, and it's amazing.
That is film level
Yeah.
budget.
If this thing works, it could be the key to the world's energy.
The animation on this is really, really fantastic.
Definitely a cut above.
Is that how they communicated with the aliens in Close Encounters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Definitely.
completely. And what we've got here is we've got an idea that according to the
Bye-bye.
writers, this was based on something that Nikola Tesla did, where he was broadcasting energy.
BT started cross-countries have it.
That's energy transmitter, which it becomes the MacGuffin. All good Joe episodes have a MacGuffin, and this is the MacGuffin for the show. So it's the broadcast energy transmitter, which can send energy wirelessly, which is an amazing,
Like a breakfast sandwich.
which is an amazing technological feat. One that
Think
we
of the
see
egg
today with
MacGuffin.
wireless,
the egg MacGuffin.
wirelessly
Yeah.
charging your cell phone.
I'm
Where
constantly
you just put
searching
your cell
for
phone
egg
on the
MacGuffin
table
most
and it's going to
mornings.
charge your battery. That's what we're getting with broadcast energy transmitter. And
Cobra was one of the largest fleets of stuns we've ever
You
seen.
know, we
So
can
many
hear
stunts.
you a lot easier
So
if
many
you just
stunts.
use the radio,
And-
Serpentor.
what the broadcast energy transmitter did was remotely jump-started
Or
all
have
the
a
vehicles.
before
We
you
saw
go
some
out,
of the
you know,
pack
some great
rats.
grill.
Motorcycles in the snow sounds like a good idea.
That comes into play later. So it's good that they had a foreshadow it for us, so it's not just out of the blue. This thing, see,
It's a
look,
great
Quick Kick is
exposed
not
seat
shirtless.
in a battle.
But he does have his shuriken belt over
He does
his
have a
parka.
shuriken belt, but we don't see Quick Kick's nipples, which is a victory.
Are you the nervous type? Yo, Joe!
So Matt said earlier, you need to come up with a name. If you could be a member of the Joe or Cobra team, what would you be? What would your name be?
Oh, that's a tough one. I was thinking about Cinerama with an S.
Oh,
Then that would be the Cobra propaganda.
This I command!
This operation is costing us.
Cobra propaganda.
Cobra propaganda, like filmmaking.
How is it costing them? They're completely totaling the shows.
Yeah, I like that.
I believe we already have. I think you mentioned we have another propaganda.
We have a propaganda minister, but we don't have a specifically like a linear.
Like the filmmaker.
The filmmaker,
yes.
yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
I
I'll
like
take
that.
the marching orders from the minister.
It's a rare Firefly appearance.
Cinerama, I love it.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right.
I think you're not going to be able to stick around
Hold
for the
on.
rest
Is
of the show.
Roblox
If you can,
shooting
stay as long as you
lasers
can
and simultaneously ejecting shell casings?
We can hang. I'll hang up for another 10-15.
I love it so much. Man, thank you so much for being a part of the show and supporting the show.
Everybody is shooting lasers.
Hey, Joe, what are you doing?
Leave me alone. I'm getting ready to record a massive podcast with 4 microphones and external audio inputs and over 3 different recording devices.
Okay, sounds cool. Can I help?
No, I can do it all by myself.
Are you sure? Because it sounds pretty complicated.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little complicated.
Well, I'm here to help if you need me.
No, thank you. I'll be fine. Once I set everything up exactly as I envisioned it.
You're making a mistake.
Flint!
Oh, God, Bill, what are you doing in our living room? Have you been here all night?
Anytime you're managing a project, whether it's recording a podcast, hosting a party, or field stripping the engine block on an awe striker, it's important to work as a team. A second set of eyes and ears can save you from a world of trouble later on.
Wow, thanks, Flint. That makes a whole lot of sense. You know, if you weren't here, I would have screwed up the whole first 15 minutes of my show.
If he wasn't here, what am I... Anyways, don't thank him. Ask him why he was hiding behind our couch the whole time.
You know, next time I'll put my ego aside and let others help. Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
I'm calling the police.
So, Matt, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me at sifted.net, the weekly podcast Game Face, and you can find me. I'm doing the writing and production for a show called Bits and Bytes, BYTES, which is on exclusively on Facebook right now.
Awesome, I love it. Well, Matt, thank you so much for being on the show, man. I love it.
Sure thing.
So, Matt, you Cinerama, the propaganda minister.
Propaganda filmmaker, yeah.
I love it so much. Thank you so much. And, yo, Joe, let's go enjoy the rest of the show. Up next, we want to get Kevin Umbricht up here.
The Emperor needs us,
He has spent
Commander.
12 years training that snake.
Baroness.
And it just has to crawl right in.
There is a lot of snake action going on. There's a whole lot of snake action going on. Serpentor just got thrown into the broadcast energy transmitter, and he is getting electrocuted. That's the most we've ever seen Serpentor get jacked up.
Serpentor is hurt. We must save him.
Yeah, you must save him, Baroness. Kevin Umbricht, welcome back to Joe on Joe.
Thank you for having me back, Joe.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
On Joe.
You're a video game producer. You're a Joe mega fan. Your biggest contribution is the music video.
Yep.
What's the Ballad of
G.I. Joe?
The Ballad of G.I. Joe. Yeah, we watched that last time you were on. I loved it.
Thank you.
Hopefully our listeners
still holds up.
It definitely still holds up. It definitely still holds up. So what were your memories of the G.I. Joe movie?
I remember watching it on TV. So it came on.
So like when it was a 5-parter?
Yeah, the 5-parter, and just sort of. I guess I was getting sort of the tail end of watching in the afternoons and turning into a preteen at that stage. So
yeah.
It's kind of like the final hurrah for afternoon cartoons for me. Maybe a little bit of the Disney afternoon after that. But,
yeah. So this kind of put the nail in your coffin?
In my prepubescent coffin, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Our men are frozen. You'll kill us all. Head for the pass up ahead.
How did we not have this guy on our team?
Sanctuary on the other side.
He's just the mascot.
So since you've been on the show, have you has it sent you down any G.I. Joe memory holes, any G.I. Joe rabbit holes or anything? If the answer is no, that's completely acceptable.
The only thing is, I unpacked a box a couple months ago. I was kind of organizing my studio, and I unearthed the mass device.
Oh,
so it was like a.
What was the map?
It came in this package. It was like one of those. You had to buy like 5 packs of 5 characters, and each one had a piece of the mass device.
Oh,
from
right, yes.
the original miniseries.
Yeah, it was one of the newer sets.
Yeah, and so they had like not only the, but then and then some characters you had to buy separately to get the canisters
with his feet.
The 3 elements to run it.
Clearly,
so hard water. And
yeah.
The yellow and the red one, which I can't remember what they were.
Well, there was hard water. There was the meteor that was in the volcano. And then there was the radioactive crystals.
Yes, that's Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Snake Eyes pulled a Wrath of Khan. Okay,
I
that's
just
awesome.
hide in the snow.
Nemesis Predator. Nemesis Enforcer just jumped out of the snow and took out Roadblock.
by the face.
Yeah, we're also getting a lot of cool Snake Eyes action right now on screen, too. Those Cobra Guards are great. Of course, the Cobra Guards were packaged out of the three-parter with the Cobra Law Guard and Nemesis Enforcer and Globulus.
Did they ever?
They never did a Pythona back in the day. They did a recently. They made a like for a collector set. It's one of the few shipwreck appearances on the show. They recently did do a Pythona card, but originally you could only get those three.
I saw, I guess the Collectors Club this year put out a really decent. He hasn't shown up yet, but this year was a Big Lob.
Yes!
And it actually looks pretty good and more impressive than any appearance he makes in this entire movie. Poor Big Lob.
Oh, poor Big Lob. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why.
Also, that is not a sports term. When is the last time you heard
a Big Lob?
A basketball broadcast and everyone's like, check out this. Holy cow, look
That's
at that
a big lob.
No,
it's not. It's really not. But also, it's weird that they would feature a character on in the movie and then never do a figure for it. You know? Like you get Chuckles and you get Jinx and you get Tunnel Rat. But Big Lob, and then they didn't do a figure. Like, why would they not have put a Big Lob figure out? Racism? Well. Wow, that was awesome. Nemesis Enforcer, just straight backhanded Cobra Commander. And here we get the first, well, it's not the first hint, because Cobra Commander led them to Cobra Law, but the Cobra Commander is real familiar with what's going on.
I always found Nemesis Enforcer's arm blades kind of inconvenient. Like,
yeah,
how do you use that in a practical sense?
Right. It's
more. He's got the one move where he could slash somebody.
Well, you know what they're reminiscent of? They're reminiscent of in the X-Men books, Dakin, that third claw that Dakin had, which came like from the underside of his wrist, which like made like a pincer thing. But it was just always awkward. So that's what makes me think.
Are there any vehicles left up here now, or has everything been destroyed?
Do you think the creator of Dakin saw this and was like, I can improve upon this?
I hope so. I really hope so.
That's Wolverine's son?
It's Wolverine's son, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's bad. I'm not a fan. It's bad. I like that even the Cobras are outfitted for polar gear. Like, they really went design-wise. They really went all out. They wanted verisimilitude.
It's like he's got a Captain Han Solo look, Zartan.
He really does. Yeah, he really does. It's very hothy. And it's apparently windy. Because Pythona's braid is just flowing.
So how many episodes, what episode number is this?
This will be, technically, I think it's like episode like 94
And you've been doing one a week?
One a week, yeah.
Religiously?
Religiously.
Did you miss any weeks?
No, never missed a week, yeah.
Holy cow, man.
Yeah, we never missed a week.
I don't think I've ever been that dedicated to something in my life.
Well, I think I'm going to delay this. It's going to be our 100th episode, I believe. So I think that's
nice round one.
We're going to do a couple fillers in between. But as we're recording this, those plans haven't been formed in concrete. So you never know. This is great with Hawk. They show him without his helmet. Normally, whenever he's been on the show, he's had the helmet on. It also shows that he's gotten his hair dyed.
These are just all the same dude.
He's gotten his hair dyed since he was not General Hawk, because he was a blonde when he first showed up with the jump jetpack.
Sir, I've already ordered Beachhead to fast forward the training of our new recruits. The sooner they graduate, the sooner they can fight.
Beachhead is about to come on screen, and he's one of the best of the secondary third level characters.
Remember when he came out, it was like him, Dial Tone,
Mainframe, Lifeline.
Tunnel
and
Rat.
we're introduced to the new Joes.
Tunnel Rat with him or after?
Which what?
Tunnel Rat.
Tunnel Rat? No, he's right there. Tunnel Rat.
No, but in the line. Did he come out with them?
Yeah, I think so. So, funnily enough, Tunnel Rat, my understanding was based visually on Larry Hama.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's correct. Jeremiah, you back me up on this?
I confirm that.
And
all right.
And let's all be clear here. Chuckles 100% is based on Don Johnson. And Don Johnson's in this movie, and yet he does not play Chuckles. So I don't know what that says or what that means, but we have a Don Johnson ripoff who's not being played by Don Johnson.
Law was also based on a top guy at Hasbro.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And Big Lob in the middle, we were just talking over here. They never made a figure of. I'm not sure, but you would think all these guys were made to be action figures, but they only recently, like last year, they made a Big Lob figure.
The guy who did the voice of Big Lob was at the last JoeCon.
Oh, was he?
Yes, he was one of the guests.
Did you, while you were there, did you pick up a Big Lob figure?
I did, and then also got him to sign it.
Oh, fantastic! It's just weird to me that they wouldn't actually make the figure. So what we're getting the training montage for these new Joes, which is strangely something that we've never really seen on the shows. Every time we've met Joes, they're pretty much Joes, like they're already fully formed G.I. Joe members. So we don't get a lot of the
or they're just hanging out in a bar.
Or hey, Shipwreck, do you want to join the team? Yeah, okay. Right, exactly. And this, of course, harkens back to the great, Full Metal Jacket, Platoon. Like every military movie has to have this training sequence. It's the best part of Stripes. The whole first half of Stripes is all training, and then it's the best part of that movie. And this is a real fun part of the show. You're getting them running through a obstacle course. So Kevin,
he kind of sounds like Kool Mo D.
Kool Mo D.
Just listen to it next time.
I wanted to wear those Kool Mo D glasses. Those glasses are amazing. So what I want from you, Kevin, is you need to give us a code name. And so if you could be a Joe or Cobra, what would you be and who would you be?
All right, I'll let you vote on this. So I have two in mind that go with my dual professional personalities.
Okay.
So if we go Joe first, I will be the manager of the arcade at G.I. Joe headquarters.
Nice.
Because, this is the mid-'80s and arcades existed at that point. So, and I will be called High Score.
Time bomb set to go off in 5 minutes. Find it and dispose of it. No problem, beachhead.
Okay. And what's your name?
High Score.
Nice.
And I have one of those quarter/token dispensers.
Yes,
that
you
will
do.
Shoot little, perhaps explosive discs out.
Nice.
At the Cobras.
And what you said if you were Cobra, what would you?
Yeah,
be?
so I want to tap into the floral arranging, and I want to rival Dr. Mindbender as far as genetic manipulation of things. So I think I would be called Pedal Pusher.
Nice.
5 minutes looking around somewhere.
The Pedal Pusher, I love it. I love it.
With the dynamite?
And would you have weaponized flowers like Cobra La? Like would
yeah,
you be
pretty
a
much.
Cobra La guy?
I know they beat me to it, but as far as a singular character in charge of all of this, I'm trying to picture what the outfit would look like.
I love it so much. So good.
It's kind of like just me in a Poison Ivy outfit, I think. Sexy.
So good. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for being a part of the show, for supporting the show.
I'm super glad to be back. This was
coming
fun.
In here. Yeah, this is great.
And gives me an excuse to watch these again.
Absolutely. So up next, I want to welcome Angel. Angel, come on up to the hot seat, man. And Kevin, thank you so much.
It's like a Star Wars view screen.
So we're welcoming Angel Castrojón, who is going to need himself a name, a code name. Of course, we watched Cobra Stopping the World together. We watched everything. Angel, please sit down, enjoy. Welcome to Joe on Joe.
Hello, thank you, Joe.
Matt, thank you so much. Matt Kyle's taking off. Goodbye, Matt. Thank you. Appreciate it. So, Angel.
Yes.
You've been watching the movie so far. We're about 30 minutes into the film. What do you think?
First of all, it's my first time watching.
Okay.
Intro, as you said, was amazing. It's tremendous. And it just feels like I'm watching a really long Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah. Good though, right?
Good. Oh, yeah, good one. Great one. Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
Any question about any of the new characters? Anything throwing you off? Like Cobra La, was that too much for you? Is that not enough? Like what was going on there?
Yeah, where'd he come from? Is he just like the all-encompassing leader of Cobra?
Globulus? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, so he runs this Shangri-La-esque Cobra La place, which, by the way, Cobra La was originally a placeholder name. They didn't mean to call it Cobra La. They thought that the guys at Hasbro would come up with a better name. and the guys at Hasbro are like, no, we love it, let's use it. And so the writers have always been a little like, oh, we don't love Cobra La as a name, but you know, it's because it's like Shangri-La, you know, like the mythical city kind of a thing. Yeah.
Like, well, they don't have to pay for any creative now because they just kept the name that the writers gave it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. See, that's always thinking, Angel. So Angel, since you've been on the show, have you had any urges, any desires to watch any G.I. Joe episodes?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think remember Fidel. I'm probably gonna start watching some with him.
Oh yeah,
you know, because he probably has.
Oh yeah, your friend was a big Joe fan.
Yeah,
give him a shout out right now.
Fidel Cabezas. Quick shout out to you. Thank you for watching and being a part of the G.I. Joe Nation that Joe doesn't like.
G.I. Joe Nation. Wait, that I don't like.
Well, you kind of said it was like Cardinals fans, or what'd you say?
Oh, well, the phrase G.I. Joe Nation. Yeah. I love the G.I. Joe fans out there. It's just the phrase Nation always bothers me. That always bothers me. I don't know why. It's just it's like we're part of Joe Nation. No. You're just a fan. Like, yeah, I don't know.
No, Joe, you are a leader.
No, if you want to say we're part of like Cobra La Nation, yeah, sure, of course. And let me take a quick moment to introduce Mr. Paul Galliano to the show. Paul, welcome to Joe on Joe. Paul just joined us. Welcome, my friend. What we're doing is you're gonna share that mic. Feel free to jump on that. Nope, the mic right to your right.
I'm taking that film.
There you go.
Film.
Hello, Al.
Welcome, Paul.
That's a
Paul Galliano.
interesting disc.
Earlier we did some quick intros. Paul's an actor. He's been with me on 3 episodes. Yep. You were on episode 32, Operation Mind Menace, episode 49, Gods Below, and episode 71, The Last Hour to Doomsday.
Yes.
And feel free to get into the mic. Like if you're
okay.
And you had a name. You were the SAC. You were the special assistant to Cobra Commander.
That was me.
So everyone, welcome to the SAC. All right. Well, we're gonna get you in the hot seat in a little bit, but right now we're gonna turn our attention back to Mr. Angel.
Yes.
So Angel, you are probably the youngest cat here, or if not, or maybe you and Matt might have a running contest for that.
Oh.
So you didn't grow up with G.I. Joe.
No, I didn't know.
But you grew up with Pokemon and
the Pokemon and the Power Rangers and the Digimon.
And so watching the animation on this movie, and so this is a movie. This is a big budget movie, right?
Yeah.
They've made Pokemon movies. You've seen movies of the stuff that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Watching this, better, worse? Because now it's apples to apples.
Right.
It's not because with TV budgets, some budgets are going to be better than others, and things like that. So apples to apples. Thoughts on Joe?
The G.I. Joe movie. I mean, it feels like what I would have watched if I was a kid in that time.
Yeah.
It feels like, in terms of quality and like what was available at the time, like that's what it should be. Like it's okay. I love it. I mean, even for the time, like just putting myself in that spot, like I feel like it's a great animation style. Like it's something some these animation styles are some that I've seen in my Saturday morning cartoons as well. Like, I know there was like just re-airings of Voltron and things like that. So I mean, I'm still familiar with this art style, and I kind of saw the transition from that old style to that new style. So it's very fluid, and I really like it. It's kind of nostalgic for me as well, even though I didn't grow up with it.
Yeah. What about these new characters? So they're like right now we've got Pythona and Nemesis Enforcer. By the way, Nemesis Enforcer is just a bad dude.
Yeah,
he's
just
pretty
ripped
great.
Open a tank.
Yeah. What do you think of them? Like, do you think they're silly enough? Too silly? Like too far? Because it was a big dividing moment when they came out, because they were the action figures came out, and it was a big like, who are these? Like, these are a little crazy because it's military. All of a sudden, it's these alien, not space alien, but like creature feature.
Well, I mean, it feels like it makes sense for the movie just because you have to take it to a whole nother level for a movie.
You do.
So it makes sense that it's kind of like that alien aspect of it, and kind of like busting out different animals from the coat.
Well, I don't want you to miss on this moment. Serpentor has been locked up, and while he's locked up, Lieutenant Falcon, Mr. Don Johnson himself, he was supposed to be on guard duty.
That guy.
But what he's doing instead is he's trying to date rape Jinx.
He's
trying to molest
hostile
Jinx.
work environment.
Yeah. Apparently Falcon works at Fox. Falcon works at Fox News, everybody. Apparently Lieutenant Falcon comes straight from Fox News right to the G.I. Joe team. Very presidential. Yeah, very presidential. He years later he went on to become a successful presidential candidate. And we see that Zorana was paying attention when she was disguised as his name.
The penaplastic shield would stop him cold.
We're getting another.
It's
been 8 minutes.
This is creepy, Falcon.
This is so good. By the way, Nemesis Enforcer also played the role of Non in Superman Part 2. Mute, angry, destructive.
Still have to blast through a couple of yards of super hard
I think there was a little suggestive oil squirt.
Falcon, you should stop narrating the defenses because they're going through them at exactly the same pace.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's like she bugged them. They're like, all right, what do we do next, Falcon? Well...
It's funny, he just had this exact same conversation with a blonde girl.
And here we go. I love that Gung Ho gets a spotlight, one of the originals. And he's going to splice things, which basically, in animation terms, smash 3 loose wires together.
They're still live. Isn't he going to get electrocuted?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're live wires. Apparently, he hasn't been watching the PSAs. Don't touch a live wire. Gung Ho, don't touch a live wire. He's about to get jacked up by Nemesis Enforcer.
Zuka got punched in the face.
And if we notice, this is the Mustache Patrol.
Oh, yeah.
All 3 rocking delicious mustaches. Angel, you're a man who can appreciate a mustache.
I mean, who can't? It's for the 80s.
So, Angel, you were on early enough to where we did not get a name.
That is true.
And specialty for you. So what if you were to be something, what would you be and how would you be it?
I feel like I would have to be Hacker.
Your name would be Hacker or you would be a hacker?
No, I looked up the G.I. Joe wiki and just a list of a bunch of Joes. I guess one of them is named Hacker.
Well, no, that's not the game, baby.
It's not the game.
You come up with your own name. You're fresh, you're new.
Well, it would be based on Hacker, and the name would be Aztech. Aztech.
Oh, Aztech. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Aztech with the T-E-C-H. Oh, he's a computer guy. You're a hacker, computer hacker?
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. That's so good. Now, does Aztec have the giant tattoo of Quetzalcoatl?
Of course.
Or is not Quetzalcoatl? Who was it?
Montezuma, probably.
Montezuma, yeah, of the guy climbing up the stairs.
Yeah.
With a woman in his arms.
Exactly. It's ancient.
And there's a cougar involved or something, or leopard.
A leopard, I believe. Yeah.
So he has that too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He has that on his back.
I love it.
And maybe even a Mayan calendar just on the chest.
A Mayan calendar on his chest.
Or an Aztec calendar,
now,
just to make it more.
Is he constantly predicting things that are going to happen based on the Mayan or Aztec calendar?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. He's always being like, nah, this Cobra plane ain't going to happen because the sun and the moon are going to be in different rhythms.
Yes. CJ, you know what's in my head.
I know. First of all, I love it. I love it. This is might be my favorite thing. I love Aztec. I'm gonna say I was hoping for Dr. Jesus.
Oh,
I was hoping for a Cobra villain named Dr. Jesus. He cures people with the healing power of peppers
or snake oils.
Snake oils, yeah, things like that.
Snake oils.
But I love Aztec. I love it. Thank you so much. I mean, thank you so much for being such a supporter. You're such a supporter of the show. You're always listening to me ramble and go on and on at work about the show.
Well, I mean, who doesn't enjoy good rambling every now and then?
Oh my God, we're totally ready to ramble.
It's true.
We're totally ready to ramble.
Let's get ready to ramble.
And so, where can we find you online?
Oh, you can see my Twitch streams on twitch.tv/GameCrossingLLC.
Sweet.
And also, we also have, do we?
Yeah, I'm excited. We're about to start. As of this recording, we're about to start it. But by the time this is up, I believe we should be well underway. We're going to be doing a GameFly Twitch channel. And do you know the name of it yet?
Yeah, it's going to be twitch.tv/Twitch or GameFly Live.
GameFly Live, right.
Twitch.tv/GameFly
So we're going to be streaming a bunch of stuff. We're going to be streaming new releases, some classics. We're going to be on camera talent. You're going to get to see Mr. Aztec.
That's true.
You're going to see Deep Dish. You're going to see everything. It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Awesome. Angel, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you,
Joe.
Thank you for being a part of Joe on Joe.
Anytime.
Awesome. All right.
The capacity of even your fine intelligence. But yet, you perceive the facts correctly, Destro. I implanted the idea.
I would love to see Mr. Tom O'Connor join us up here.
Mindbender's rather pedestrian brain with
Tom O'Connor, he's a writer.
Motivator.
What's the chorus there? He's a writer. He's a storyteller. He's a punk rocker. I don't want to say ex-punk rocker because you're always a punk rocker.
Yeah, it's not something you retain. It's something you can't help.
Yeah, you're a mega talent, and you're a guy with heart is what you are.
Is that what I am?
Yeah, you got a huge heart, my friend.
Well, that's sweet of you to
Yeah,
say.
you got a huge heart. The fact that you're here, you're supporting, you're being a part of the team, I love it.
Well, I appreciate you having me since I'm not a Joe expert. Absolutely. And as we talked about in my episode, my experience with G.I. Joe comes from before he was given guns again.
Oh, yeah. Totally. So we watched the Games Master.
Right.
So you were one of the early ones. So we did not get a name for you. So we're going to have to get a name. What have you been enjoying the movie so far?
Well, I had a little trouble with the hierarchy because, like I said, I'm not a super fan. So I couldn't understand how the leader of Cobra had to bow to the Emperor of Cobra.
Right.
And now, just before I came over to the hot seat, the Emperor of Cobra was now bowing to another guy.
Mm-hmm.
So how high does this thing go?
Things move pretty quickly in Cobra hierarchy. Things move pretty fast for Cobra in G.I. Joe. So since you were on the show, they literally created Serpentor.
Okay.
Out of DNA of leaders. The great leaders, by great I mean like terrible maniacal despots throughout history.
Okay.
They definitely used some DNA from Trump. And it gave Serpentor the inability to judge crowd sizes.
Mm-hmm.
And they created from a little primordial soup Serpentor. And in order to lead Cobra better than Cobra Commander was doing. So then Serpentor took a higher level than Cobra Commander. And for the second season, Cobra Commander has been having to do Serpentor's bidding.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then the guy Serpentor was bowing to, who was that?
Now that's Globulus. So he runs Cobra La, which is we're meeting for the first time. This is all brand new. And Cobra La is this lost city in the Arctic.
Oh, like Shangri-La.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly like Shangri-La. So he's the big leader of everybody. You know what I mean? So everybody bows to him. Even Cobra Commander would have bowed to him.
I get you.
In fact, he's the one who sent Cobra Commander out into the world to spread the word of Cobra.
Now, tell me about the origin of the movie. You said it didn't make a theater release, right? It was
correct.
So was it straight to DVD?
It did. It went straight straight to home video.
Back then,
straight to VHS. Yes, it was. Yeah, it went straight to VHS because there was, I think, the underperformance of the Gem movie, and I think the Transformers movie. The Transformers movie freaked kids out because they killed Optimus Prime.
Right.
And then because of that, I don't think it performed very well in theaters, so they pulled it from the theatrical run. They pulled G.I. Joe from theatrical run. And then it aired. Most people saw it as they split it up. They wrote it and built it as a 5-parter, so they could split it, for at 22-minute intervals. You know what I mean? And so they aired it on TV as a 5-parter, but it was originally released on VHS first.
VHS.
So it went to your local Blockbuster, your local video store. Blockbuster wouldn't have been around at the time. I think it would have just been mom and pop stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah. So here we're getting the origins of Cobra La. This is exciting. This is very exciting.
And this is totally separate from, like, Cobra La first appears in the film. Does it come back in the series later at all?
You know
Or
what?
is this
No.
just a standalone?
Yeah, it's a standalone. They don't revisit it, to my recollection, on the Canadian, the DIC stuff, which would have been. I don't think. I'm pretty sure. And again, we're recording this before I've done before I've gotten caught up on my DIC stuff, but I'm fairly positive some of the effects of the movie are referenced. Like Cobra Commander talks about, I think, references like being back to normal from being what happens to him in this movie, but we do not ever get to see Globulus and Nemesis Enforcer and stuff. We don't. This is the end.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you got to go big for the movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Have some big bosses.
And this is also, let's not go any further until we get, this is, by the way, we just saw the origin of Cobra Commander. That's him getting scarred and all these pustules as a scientist. And boom, he becomes Cobra Commander. So he's not, as the comic book show us, he was like a fed up used car salesman, like who just hated society and stuff like that. But in reality, in the cartoon, what they're saying is he was sent here by Cobra La to overthrow society and make way for the next generation of Cobra La. But he's a failure.
But he's a failure.
He's a
awful.
failure.
For 10,000 years,
I mean,
Yeah.
the voice should have been a tip-off from the beginning. I mean, he doesn't sound like a leader.
He's not gonna. Yeah, he's not gonna do well. Yeah.
You're not going to inspire the troops with that voice.
No, he's not gonna do well. Not at all.
And while you were sitting here continuing to
So the great Burgess Meredith, you're a fan of you're a fan of cinema. You're a fan of.
I'm no cineast, but
You're
I am.
cineast, but you've been around.
I make the follow, sure.
So Burgess has been a few things. He's Globulus. He's been Mickey.
Yep.
In Rocky movies. He was, of course, the Penguin.
He was the Penguin.
He was in my personal favorite all-time Twilight Zone episode. The man who he got caught in the bank vault.
Oh right,
and he
wasn't that
sat on the glasses?
Wasn't that like the first episode?
No, it wasn't the first one, but it's like one of the top 5 episodes of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets caught in the bank vault, and there's the nuclear explosion.
Yeah.
And then it comes out. I think it's called All the Time in the World.
All the Time in the World. Yeah.
Yeah, because he all he wants to do is be left alone to read. So he finally has that because everyone's dead, and he sits on his glasses, and he's so nearsighted he can't read.
I remember the first time I saw that as a youngster in the summertime Twilight Zone at 11 p.m. on the local TV station, and I thought, what a ballbuster! And then I think it was the first Twilight Zone episode I ever saw, and then that summer I became addicted to the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it was absolutely one of the early ones I watched, and it scared me because I have terribly thick glasses, and I was like, that's going to happen to me, and I love to read.
Yeah.
So I 100% was Burgess Meredith in that moment.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I imagine whoever wrote it wore glasses.
And at the same time, I was also watching Burgess as the Penguin on Batman. And so I was a huge Burgess Meredith fan as a kid. And then he shows up in Grumpy Old Men. Like, my childhood was spent adoring an 80-year-old man. But he also was in, and I've never seen this performance, but he's always lauded for his role in Of Mice and Men. He was George.
I have not seen that.
Yeah.
I have not seen that.
Yeah.
But of course, people my age, that didn't realize he was the Penguin. You saw him in Rocky, and so that's what everybody's pretty much now. Everybody's vision of him is from Rocky, and then they're reminded, oh yeah, he was also the Penguin.
Oh yeah,
in the original series, and that surprises people.
Yeah, and he's so good in all of it. Burgess is a great actor. So what we're getting on the movie is Cobra Commander went full Snake.
Okay.
They say don't go full Snake. Cobra Commander went full Snake.
Nemesis Enforcer, throw this worthless sewage into the
Throw this worthless sewage.
Wait. He did go
Chase
full
the
Snake.
chicken, Rock. Chase it. Greasy fast. You're going to spit lightning and crap thunder. I love Burgess Meredith. I love him so much. Oh, and Nemesis Enforcer is straight up discarding Cobra Commander, who, while he wasn't successful, he was a loyal soldier.
Loyalty doesn't get you anywhere.
Doesn't
Results
get you far, does
do.
it? Results get you everywhere. It's so true. It's so true.
And becoming full Snake like that seemed like a last-ditch effort, really.
He went full Snake.
Yeah.
He definitely went full Snake. That's Lift Ticket. He's awesome. And he's about to kick Falcon out of a moving helicopter. He just murdered Lieutenant Falcon. Yeah, he just murdered Falcon. Unless Falcon can flip the... How great would it be if there's a world where it didn't pull the cord and he just killed him, and then Lift Ticket's brought up on charges,
but brought before the tribunal.
Yeah, before the tribunal. Like, you killed my half brother. Like, well, he was a jerk.
Well, isn't this the same guy that was just sexually harassing the new recruit?
Right?
Earlier? Like, what's up with the good guys? Like,
well, you got to show that he's a creep, and he comes back for himself. Hey, we just got Alex Tortora in here, everybody.
The Alex Tortora.
The Alex Tortora. Alex, come on in. Maybe get yourself something. Get yourself settled. Maybe find some room over by Angel and join the show. So, Tom, we are asking everybody if you could be a Joe or Cobra, what would you be? Because we do not have a name for you. So what would you be?
Well, I like to think I'd be one of the good guys.
Okay.
So I'd be Joe.
Okay.
But I've always felt like anybody who gives themselves their own nickname, that's kind of lame. So I guess I would have to wait for someone else to tell me
what would your
I'm
specialty be? Like what? So you're a writer. You're a storyteller. You like punk music. I think you would be something punk.
Possibly, but in a fighting situation, Give me the sniper rifle any day.
So you'd be a
I want to be a
sniper.
standoff weapon for sure.
So you'd be a sniper, and how about punk out?
Nice, I'll take it.
You're punk out.
Punk out.
You're punk out, and because you shoot from far out, like you don't like to get in the mix. You punk out.
I'll completely punk out. Using punk in the
negative
way. Sure.
We're glad you're on the team because you're the best sniper. You're better than low light. Like you're the best, but you're not great in the up close.
Not in the up close.
You're like, I'll just stay back here. So they're like, oh, you want to punk out, and you're like, and ultimately you got the team's back. But
yeah, if we ever get into any real trouble, I'll be right behind you guys.
Okay, so you're punk out, Tom O'Connor.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It.
Hey, where can we find you online?
PlanetO'Connor.com, OCONNOR, and from there you can find all the things.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much, Tom. Thank you.
Happy to be here, my
Thank you
man.
for being a part of this, buddy.
Fun.
Awesome. Tom O'Connor, everybody. Tom O'Connor. Yeah, Shirley. You know what's up. Up next, I would love to bring in Mega Joe fan Jeremiah Stafford. Jeremiah, come on up to the hot seat, my friend.
Grab your gear and start.
While Jeremiah makes his way, I want to welcome into the gang Mr. Alex Tortora. He's an actor. It's Shirley Feeney. She loves Alex too. He's an actor. He's a friend of mine. Works with me over here at Golden Apple Comics out here in LA. You joined me for episode 24, The Greenhouse Effect. You joined me for an episode called The Greenhouse Effect, which was fitting because you were high as F on that episode. And so it was so perfect that you were joining me for The Greenhouse Effect. I feel like you were just getting into character.
Oh, had to.
So
it's method.
You're not? Yeah. So what we're doing real quick is we're having people kind of sub in for about 8-9 minutes on the hot seat. And so you're going to need to come up with a name for who your character's going to be.
Say that again?
If you were Joe or Cobra, who you would be.
Oh, God, okay.
So we're going to come back to Alex Tortora in a moment. On this series. And in the meantime, I want to welcome professional screenwriter, friend of the show, and friend all around. You also know him as Major Gambit and Detective Adder. Mr. Jeremiah Stafford. Jeremiah, welcome back to Joe on Joe.
Hey, glad to be back.
I'm so glad to have you back. You are, you're definitely one of the bigger Joe fans in the room for sure.
I've lifelong.
Yeah,
lifelong. Yes.
I overheard you dropping some good knowledge on the audio tracks, so we're happy to have you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually, we just saw Sergeant Slaughter on TV here pretty recently. I actually have a family history with Sergeant Slaughter.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So my dad's cousin was a professional wrestler in the 70s and 80s called Ed Wiskowski.
Awesome.
Easy Ed, they used to call him. He got very big in the Portland area where he had major feuds with like Roddy Piper and actually won tag belts with Roddy Piper at one point. He was tag team partners with Playboy Buddy Rose. But in 1985, he went and joined the AWA and became a character named Colonel De Beers, who...
Your uncle was Colonel De Beers? Oh,
Dad's cousin.
Oh, your dad's cousin.
My
Right.
dad's cousin.
We touched on this. Yeah, on your episode. Yeah.
Was Colonel De Beers, who had a long-standing feud with Sergeant Slaughter right during the heart of his G.I. Joe run.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I've met Sergeant Slaughter many, many times. He wouldn't necessarily recognize me on the street, but... Every time I've run into him, we've had a little conversation about my cousin. And
where's he living these days? Where's he located?
I think he was living up in Portland, Oregon for a really long time because that's sort of where he spent most of his heyday of his career. But I believe he retired. I actually became friends with Roddy Piper before he passed away.
Oh, you did?
And
there's no doubt
from what Piper told me, I believe he retired down in Arizona. I actually haven't kept in contact with him since I was a kid because I moved to Los Angeles.
One of the big throws. What's that? Oh, okay, very nice. One of the big throws I had this last week. He liked, or his social media expert liked one of my tweets.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
I felt very vindicated.
Wait, were you saying Sergeant Slaughter was in North Carolina?
Yeah, when we shot the final.
Oh no, I was talking about my dad's cousin. No,
I was actually talking about Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
But listen, I want to know where everybody's at. So where's Colonel De Beers at?
I believe he retired in Arizona last.
And Sergeant Slaughter is at
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Oh, I love it. I love it. So you've got an extensive collection of the figures and stuff. What's your pride and joy in that?
That's tough. I mean, I think the ones I grew up with obviously have a lot of sentimental value for. Zartan was my favorite
Didn't
figure.
warn him there's a big drop?
You know, just across the board. Actually, while I was friends with Roddy Piper, he personally gave me one of his carded figures because he too was a member of GI, or actually a member of the Iron Grenadiers. In the, I think it was 2009, they made a figure of him.
Really?
So, yeah, one day I went and met Hot Rod at the comedy store down here in Los Angeles, and he brought me this carded figure of himself.
That's so great.
Signed.
That's so great.
So that's right up on my wall. But yeah, so that obviously has a lot of personal value.
Yeah. So what are your what's your future goals for your collection? Are you looking to get like all the retro stuff, all the new stuff? Like, are you a completionist? Like, you've got such a great collection, and what is your overall goal for it?
As far as GI Joe, because GI Joe is one of the gems of my collection and one of the top fandoms that I'm a part of. I would love to be a completionist, someday. Yeah. Still need the flag, still need the Defiant, like what we talked about last time. But yeah, hopefully someday. I'm pretty close with the vintage figures. I'm pretty much 95% there. Still need a lot of vehicles. And all the modern era stuff, I'm complete outside of a couple of random exclusives that were
do you know which vintage figures you're missing?
Mostly, well, I'm missing Night Force. I'm missing the entire Night Force set.
And are they hard to come by, or?
They were, I believe, Toys R Us exclusives, so they were a little bit less common compared to most of them. But yeah, I'm missing those, and I'm missing a lot of the ones from like 93, 94, because that's the part where in my childhood I actually stopped collecting as much. So those are definitely most of what I'm still missing vintage-wise falls into that category. But yeah, I'm very close to completing the vintage line. Modern era stuff, post 2007. It's all complete outside of a couple of random convention set pieces. Also, like a Night Force Crazy Legs, that's a really hard one to find. That's one I'm missing. There was like a Dark Lawn 2-pack that came out in, maybe, I want to say like 2011. That's one that's a little hard to come by. But
they made multiple Dark Lawns?
In the modern era, they've made 2 now.
In the modern era, okay.
Yeah, so there's been 3 total.
Okay.
I'm still missing a lot of stuff between like 2001 and 2006.
Okay, and like production runs for that era pretty low, right? It's pretty like almost on demand kind of, right?
I mean, the 80s and 90s were obviously the big era for G.I. Joe, and that was a big era for toys in general. They just have not made as many toys.
Yeah.
Kids are into video games and things like that, so it makes more sense.
Totally.
But those were still in retail stores for the most part, so they still had runs.
I look at like online, people post like fun old pictures and stuff, and I see the pictures, the nostalgic pictures of like the G.I. Joe aisle, and I just such good memories of this euphoria. I mean, literally, you'd walk into Toys R Us, and I had 2 older sisters, so like we would all be in our thing, we'd all have different directions to go to. And I always was just, let me hit that Joe aisle.
And just look.
Just look. And
half the time, didn't even get anything, just have a look.
Right. It wasn't always about buying stuff. It was, I want to get this, I want to get that, or oh my gosh, look, they have this. I remember seeing the flag, like seeing it there. And here's the Terrordrome is out, and this character's out, and that character's out. And looking at they did so much good. They were so smart in marketing with putting the characters on the back of the card,
and then had the cross sell.
Cross sell. You also had the little
booklets that came
mini
with the
booklets, right? Yeah, that would show you all the upcoming toy lines. It taught you to. It redefined, much like earlier we were saying, like Wally Burr redefined the way this stuff's recorded. That redefined the way toys were sold, because it was lines of toys. It was this group, be ready because this fall this set of characters coming out. It was expected. It wasn't just totally rando.
Well, and you've never had a toy line that's been that expansive.
Yeah,
it
was the most, right? It was the most in history, right?
The biggest play sets, the most number of figures, a 12-year straight run, uninterrupted. And really, I mean, even beyond that, they were clearly down periods. But there was a G.I. Joe called Sergeant Savage in '95. There was like G.I. Joe Extreme. As much as we weren't into it.
No, yeah.
So like G.I. Joe has had a pretty steady representation of some sort on the toy aisle. But yeah, that 80s, 90s, you'd walk through, you'd see multiple flags on the shelf.
Yeah, because no one could afford them.
Right, well, that's true.
Or afford the room.
Yeah.
You couldn't afford the real estate for it.
But yeah, I mean, it was very, it took over.
Real quick in the movie, I want to point out that Viper is just sitting on an explosive box. They're taking a break and they're sitting on an explosive box. We've got Sergeant Slaughter's renegades that are breaking into the Cobra Terrordrome to sabotage. I'm sorry. I say sabotage. You say sabotage. I say sabotage. Yeah. And we're going to get into a little bit of firefight. Apparently, the renegades were based off of their personalities were based off of other wrestlers at the time. Like,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, I heard on the director's commentary. What's his name? Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
Was for one of them, and the other one was. I'm blanking on who they said it was. But yeah, it was they took it off of wrestlers to kind of like give him fellow wrestlers. Oh wait, Iron Sheik. Oh, Superfly Snuka. That's who it was.
Jimmy Snuka. Yes,
Jimmy Snuka. And in the director's commentary, he actually never says who the third.
Who also had a big feud with my dad's cousin.
Oh really?
Yeah, that was his ever big.
It
feud.
wasn't in the wrestling ring though. It's just in personal.
Well, just in life. Yes, just in the cocaine days.
The Staffords and the Snukas.
Right.
The De Beers and the Snukas.
Boom, boom. Where's Falcon? Who cares?
That's a piece of trivia I did not know.
So that's pretty good. So that right there, that's Snuka.
So I'll actually add an extra piece of trivia to this. So Mercer had his version 2 figure sometime in the 90s. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the file name on the second figure is different than what it is on the first figure.
Really?
Almost implying that it's two different
funny
X-Cobras.
It's funny. Well, we in one of the episodes, as we're recording this, one of the recent ones we watched involved a very prominent Viper, which normally you don't get
like
prominent
highlight
Vipers.
A specific Viper. Yeah.
And he was it was one of the fashion ones where it's when they turned him into little kids.
Oh, okay.
And
with the Zara mainframe.
And he looks just like Mercer. Looks totally like Mercer, and except he has blonde hair. But if you look at the toy had blonde hair.
The toy had blonde hair and a file card.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was throwing out there that's Mercer. And if not, why can't it be?
That could make sense. Yeah.
And maybe he dyes his hair for the movie. And he's like, hey, we're making a movie. I got to look good.
Well, once he switches sides, he sort of probably needs to go undercover a little bit.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Down.
Oh my God, you're making so much sense. But Jeremiah, we already got your name, so we don't need to get another one from you.
Right.
But we do need to say thank you. I appreciate your support of the show, and I appreciate you being a fan and a friend. I love it. I love having you here for this.
Oh, glad to be here. It's great. I enjoyed this movie every time I see it.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. Well, next up in the hot seat, he's a producer at The Moth. He's Mr. Gary Buckler. Gary, come on up.
No time for rematch. Remember Bob.
Now, while Gary's making his way, we also had an introduction of Mr. Julius Pantera join the club. Julius, now you were the Cobra propagandist, right?
Yes.
What was your name again?
We're still working on that one.
No. We had a name for you. I had a card for you earlier. Where did it go? Oh, you were you were Chancellor Pantera. So Chancellor Pantera is in the house, everybody. And we'll get you in the hot seat in a little bit. But right now, we've got Mr. Gary Buckler. Gary, welcome to the hot seat at Joe on Joe.
Thank you for having me back.
Okay, real quick, we're going to say goodbye to Kevin Umber. Kevin, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
I want their heads.
I'm sorry, that would be the Cobra Botanist pedal pusher. The pedal pusher. High score, the Joe manager of the G.I. Joe Arcade, high score, and the Cobra Botanist pedal pusher. Thank you so much, and have a good day, my friend. Gary.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to Joe on Joe, buddy.
Thank you.
Since you've been on the show,
We need to broadcast 106th and Park tonight.
I'm assuming you've shown your children all the G.I. Joe episodes in sequential order.
We have only, but we're on the third round.
Third round.
My wife has left me.
Cricket, no.
Yeah, my wife has left me.
Not
and
cricket.
the kids have independently gained 30 pounds each, even the 5-year-olds.
but they are well versed in their Joe.
Okay, well that's good. That's good to see.
Absolutely. You have to have your priorities.
You really do. You really do.
Right. And my childhood will be their priority.
What's your experience with the G.I. Joe movie? Like, when did you
I don't
first
think I've
encounter
seen it. I think this is my first encounter.
Oh,
of
really?
It. I do think so. Yeah.
You weren't hanging out at the local family VHS video club?
I don't think so. No. This is my first encounter.
We're sitting on the counter.
I get to sit in a room full of geeks.
Right next to I Spit on Your Grave and Faces of Death. Was G.I. Joe the movie?
We watched Faces of Death. I do watch Faces of Death. But I don't
the other week I was walking through the alley here, and there was a random VHS tape laying in the alley, and of course my brain went to
right,
like porn in the wild. That's where my brain went. But I looked closer. It was a haircuts for home VHS tape. How to teach yourself to give yourself different styles of haircuts.
I still have a few of my VHSs.
You do?
I have a Penn and Teller Cruel Tricks for Dear Friends.
That's
the VHS,
great.
Which I can't do a lot of them because they're all VHS based.
Do you not have a VCR?
We don't have a VCR.
I do.
If
we want to do an episode of Gary on VHS,
Gary on VHS,
we can do this. I have a working VCR.
Is it Jerry Maguire, the last movie that was made on VHS?
It might, yes, because
and there's like one guy who just collects
them all. Yeah,
they've got like a store now, and you can just go and it's all VHS Jerry Maguire.
I believe you're correct. Yes, I believe you are correct.
It makes me wonder what I'm doing with my life when I hear about things like that.
Yeah,
I've made wrong choices.
You've made the choices that don't involve mass collecting and OCD levels of commitment.
That's true. It's true.
We've got that tomahawk. Okay, they're dead.
Right? Especially Chuckles, though. Yeah.
Okay, Chuckles is hanging on the outside of a tomahawk as it crashes through a building with no rotor support. And Chuckles is the first one awake. How is that even possible?
That's what you get for riding inside.
Yeah.
This was clearly pre 9/11. Let's just also say that.
Totally. Speaking of Chuckles, Chuckles had an amazing arc in the comic book. IDW did a series called G.I. Joe Cobra, where they sent Chuckles in undercover to Cobra, and they treated him seriously. They didn't treat him like a Miami Vice knockoff. It was awesome. Like it was so great, and it ends with, spoiler alert, Chuckles sacrificing himself to blow up Cobra and to stop their big plan. It was like a multi-series arc where he really gets in deep with Cobra, and like it's Donnie Brasco level undercover stuff. So Chuckles like went from being a joke to like a hero in people's eyes. Yeah, like for real.
Did Cobra just have blackbirds? Were they just flying blackbirds?
They might have been. That creature is amazing. Actually, all the creatures in this sequence are really cool. The animation is top notch here, and look at the wreckage.
The animation is definitely top notch in this.
The wreckage on this is crazy, and now we know why the cross country doesn't have a seatbelt in that top thing, so Duke can jump off safely.
Right. This is pre-Tremors, I'm assuming.
Pre-Tremors.
Wouldn't it be awesome if Kevin Bacon did just all of a sudden show up and they follow him off a cliff?
Michael Gross comes running in.
All the guns.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Nemesis Enforcer. See, now we know why those blades are pointed the wrong direction. So he can use his leverage and rip doors open.
It still seems like
And they are about to get the broadcast energy transmitter.
These things aren't invulnerable after all.
And here we go with Duke getting a little bit of a hero moment. And
he just killed an animal.
He really did. That animal did not have a parachute. I'm just going to say.
Nobody's had a parachute in this.
Very few parachutes in this. You're totally right. Very few parachutes. There's the Night Raven. Apparently that Night Raven is massively enormous.
So now the thing is just sitting out there by itself. No one's guarding it.
Yeah. Serpentor makes his big appearance. Oh,
there we are.
There we go.
Such a slaughter in the Renegades. Left the Terror Dome first.
Yeah.
And now they're arriving.
Well, yeah, they
That's very slow.
Well,
They had to wait for the key moment to make
Yeah.
their appearance.
Yeah, they can't. Plus, Falcon's literally riding in the outside of a car. You can't drive that fast.
Well, you know.
Have you ever ridden on the outside of a car? It takes a while.
But Chuckles rode on the outside of a helicopter.
Chuckles is a man. Don Johnson's represented twice in this movie, so I mean that's double Don Johnson. We're getting double Don. We're getting double Don. We're getting double Don. You know. Now, Gary, you're about to witness one of the big moments in animation history right here.
Oh,
now look how the animation even changes. Like there's a gauze over it, as if we're shooting Sybil Shepherd. You know what I'm saying? There's like a sheen.
There's a
to
fog.
it. Yeah.
There's a fog.
And Serpentor throws. Oh. Duke gets a snake in the heart. Oh, and he just rips it out. Did you learn nothing from the Crocodile Hunter?
This is why he was back in basic training.
Yeah, that's not how. Yeah, that's what killed that Australian crocodile hunter guy. They ripped the thing out of his chest and he just died. That's Mothra, who's taking the broadcast energy transmitter.
And bad news, Duke is dead.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, if you notice, ladies and gentlemen, that is ADR. So that was definitely them realizing. Normally, probably originally was Duke's dead.
We have to make him alive because the fans react.
We're not sure what this red stuff is that's pumping out of his chest. We've never seen it before, but he's not responding to anything.
Don't say that, Duke.
Gary, you've got some kids. Have you ever dealt with your kids seeing like a cartoon where like someone dies or like something tragic happens on one of their beloved shows?
No.
I don't think so, but
to save me.
But my oldest, he has a friend whose mom has been showing him rated R movies.
Oh,
so
that's exciting!
Like they went and saw the Assassin's Bodyguard. Is that what it was?
They did.
And then he was over there the other day, and he's like, "Oh, we watched Logan," and I was like, "Really?
What? Okay."
So, he doesn't mind the violence. He doesn't like scary things.
Yeah.
But he doesn't mind the violence.
Well, look at those tears from his lady love.
Falcon, don't worry. We'll do everything we
So
can.
let's get real here, kids. We just saw Duke die. Okay, we know Duke just died.
Yo, Joe.
Contrary to what we're told later in the film.
Why not? If he should have turned and said, "Yo, Duke."
He totally should have.
That was a missed opportunity.
He totally should have. It should have been a Yo Duke.
That
should have been a Yo
Duke.
Duke. Well, Gary, last time you were on, we were not doing the very obvious thing of asking people what their Joe name would be.
Yes.
Took me only 60 episodes to think of it. So,
Which number was I on?
Oh, you were episode like 56 or something.
Okay.
Like that. It was Cobra Claws Are Coming to Town. It was a
Right.
Christmas episode. So if you could be a member of Joe or Cobra, what would you be?
I think I'd be Yiddish Kite.
Yiddish? What would you do? What would your job
It's
be?
one word.
Okay.
It's not a Yiddish.
Oh, not
kite.
a Yiddish kite. It's Yiddish kite.
It's Yiddish Kite.
Okay. and what would your job be?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
It just means Judaism.
Okay.
But I was
would
like,
you be like a chaplain?
No, I definitely. But I was thinking, I guess I could be a Cobra chaplain.
A Cobra chaplain?
I would happy to be a Cobra chaplain.
Okay.
Did you say energy sauce?
Figuring out evil mystical ways to bring God into the battle.
Okay, I feel like you would be paired up with who's the Cobra hypnotist with the crystal ball. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You'd be teamed up with Crystal Ball, who was like
Sounds
the seventh
good.
son of a seventh son and was all into mysticism and all that stuff.
Sounds good.
Okay, Yiddish Kite?
Yiddish Kite.
Yiddish Kite? Thank you for being a part of the Joe and Joe family, brother.
Thank you, Joe.
It really means a lot to me. Awesome. Gary Buckler, everybody. Yeah, Shirley. You're so excited. Oh. So up next, we are going to introduce Mr. Bart Gold. Bart Gold, you're a writer at large. And while we're back on the film, Roadblock is carrying a very deformed snake-like Cobra Commander who is turning into a human snake.
One of the best buddy comedies.
Yeah, it really is. Really, well, it's funny you say that on the director's commentary. Apparently, that this came from his an idea that he had for the script of doing like a buddy comedy like that. Yeah, where like a blind dude has to. I think it was like a racist or something has to carry a black dude through a certain something like that. He alludes to it in the commentary.
I'm glad the Rapid Evolution finally gave Cobra Commander a lower jaw. He didn't have that when it first started.
Well, welcome aboard, Bart Gold.
Thank you for having me back.
Oh my God, we're so happy to have you. You were here for Haul Down the Heavens and Eye for an Eye. We're gonna need to get a name from you, but you're a writer, you're a producer, you're doing all kinds of stuff. What have you been working on lately?
Earlier in the year, I rewrote a movie of mine for Lionsgate. We got it set up there, so I'm excited to see what happens next with
Is
that.
something we could talk about? Put a name to it or no?
I won't jinx it.
Okay.
But,
well, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's a comedy I wrote a while ago, and people have been trying to produce it for a long time.
Was it a farce about an international terrorist organization getting a hold of some weaponized spores and turning the world into snakes?
No, that is an overlooked genre that I think it's high
Very
time I
overlooked
revive.
genre. Very overlooked genre. We're now heading towards the denouement of the third act, as they would say. In screenwriter terms, would you agree on this?
We are.
Everyone's making their final pitched battle against Cobra.
And it was a suitable all is lost moment at the end of Act 2 with what happened to Duke.
Total all is lost moment.
So
what did you think of the movie so far? This is the first time you've seen it, right?
It's been a long time. I remember this from the 80s. I remember the whole Globulus gang showing up in the action figures.
Hey, ¿qué pasa, Jinx?
So I think I will join G.I. Joe as the trivia expert.
Well, wait a minute. We're not there yet, but I like that initiative. So you're going to be a trivia expert?
Yeah, I will join G.I. Joe as a trivia expert just because, there are other writers represented here, so I was trying to think of a non-writing skill.
Okay.
So as the trivia expert, I have, just like a mind full of all kinds of obscure facts.
Okay.
Therefore, my code name is Mind Flack.
Mind Flack, F-L-A-K?
Yes. Mind Flack.
Awesome. That's exciting. And you're the trivia expert. So how would we use that in battle? Would you come up with like you'd see they come out with a new they come out with a Cobra Stun and you'd be like, did you know that the Cobra Stun could only traverse 45 degrees in this direction?
Yeah.
Something like along those lines, and then be like, so we need to get past 45 degrees and we're safe.
I might have to go back earlier than that. I might point out that the first American Air Force was created by a president earlier than you might guess.
Which way now, man?
Okay.
Lincoln.
Okay.
You hear me, man?
Lincoln's Air Force was a University of New Hampshire professor in a hot air balloon. They used to.
Okay.
They would raise him up. They would raise him up and he would spy on the Confederacy.
Bags full of urine on the Confederacy?
No, he would telex Confederate positions from high up in the air.
That's exciting.
And he was too high up, so they couldn't shoot him down with the guns they had at the time.
And how would that help the Joes defeat Cobra in the moment?
Well, it pays to know the history of aerial surveillance. Is what I'm getting at.
I like it, Mind Flack. What would your
Joe?
What would your accessory be?
A Trivial Pursuit pie wedge.
Yes. Also, I also feel like
that also is a grenade.
Your character is cousins with Cliff Clavin.
That's a great punch.
100%. That was amazing.
Now, Cliff Clavin is a very solid public servant.
Yeah, that's amazing. The
U.S. Postal Service, underrepresented in Joe Land.
Totally underrepresented. Maybe we'll get one of our guests one day. We'll choose to be a postal worker. So we got the Joe trainees now showing up with Flint in tow, and they stole the Dreadnought Swamp Fires, and so they're going to make the last ditch effort.
Thank God we had these extra 5 guys.
Have you ever written like a big group kind of action thingy? You know what I mean? Like where there's just a ton of characters and then it's whittled down to just a few of them left, kind of thing.
I did once write a draft of somebody's feudal Japanese epic where the shogun was trying to take out kind of somebody's religious minority colony. That was a pretty epic battle.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Did you find it hard to balance giving people screen time, or did it just kind of float, or what?
Well, I mean, in fairness, this story, it was a rewrite job, so the story was handed to me. So I only had 4 or 5 named characters around. I didn't have the problem that these guys have of trying to cram, $900 worth of action figures on screen at the same time.
That is very true. Quick Kick, shirtless again. At least we see Quick Kick's nipples one more time. And shoeless. Cobra's still in there. This is great because now we're getting it's glory shots of all the Joes fighting everybody. This is great.
Yeah, that was a solid shot, actually. I think Lady J punched out the Baroness in the middle of that.
Yeah, this is really, really, really solid stuff. Barbecue's there. Looks like Tripwire was there. Breaker. It was all kinds of good stuff. All kinds of good stuff.
And
there's Golobulus, the king.
assuage your fears.
Did you have a Burgess Meredith favorite? Like Burgess, Mickey, Penguin?
Yeah, the Penguin.
Grumpy Old Men?
Penguin.
Yeah. Yeah, Penguin's pretty great. What, Mickey? Mickey or Penguin? It's usually going to be Mickey or Penguin.
There could be one line where he calls someone a bum.
Oh,
Right?
wait, they got another spider.
You're no good, Cobra Commander. These creep you up. Oh, that's awesome. He just pulled a Blazing Saddles and punched a horse. Look at this grate. That is so great. That's the giant cockroach bridge thing.
And you and I were making fun of the bridge layer on our last episode.
Well, yeah. Look at this. Yeah, I think it was over the stream that Roblox escaped from earlier. This looks like something out of Mad Magazine or like Garbage Pail Kids. All right, well, Bart, we're wrapping up. We got a couple more guys to jump in the hot seat.
Sure deal.
Thank you so much for being a part of Joe on Joe. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me back.
I appreciate you having you on, brother.
We'll see if they get back that BET.
That is Mind Flack, everybody. Mind Flack, everybody. All right. Matt Plossman, get on up here. So up next, we got Matt Plossman. He's a writer. He's also an assistant writer over at Modern Family. Fantastic. He's here to tell us all the stories about Sofia Vergara. And he's my personal connection to her. Rebecca, you're okay with that, right? Okay. Matt? Yeah. She's definitely on the list. Matt, thank you for being on the show, man.
It's great to be back and to have had more than 24 hours notice.
Oh, totally. Yeah, right? So since last time, you got your Joes back from your parents' house, right?
Yeah, they were shipped to me over Christmas.
And what'd you think of them?
It was nice to revisit them.
Which ones did you have?
It's so many. I don't know. I had lots of vehicles.
And do you have a vehicle? Did they also ship the vehicles?
No,
or just the figures?
Just the figures. I had a small box of figures.
So now you got the figures out here. Have you gone through them? Have you
I've gone through them a little bit.
Do they need new O-rings?
I have a couple. I have a couple that need new O-rings.
I just bought a bag of 100.
Yeah.
So you know what? We'll get together and we'll fix them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that for an episode.
Sounds good.
We'll fix your Joes. Yeah, it'll be really boring because it's actually kind of labor intensive.
We'll get I have a lifeline. I had a mail away lifeline.
Mail away lifeline.
And so he can oversee our operation. On the
Joes. That's awesome. We're now getting the showdown of the century with Nemesis Enforcer and Sergeant Slaughter. We're also getting the cat fight. Apparently, this cat fight was influenced by like Knots Landing and Dynasty and all that.
Is there a fountain for them to fall in?
Oh yeah, there is. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is a fountain. Yeah. Jinx, of course. Jinx was in the second G.I. Joe movie, portrayed by Elodie Young, who also played Elektra. Yeah. In working on Modern Family, have you had any guest stars that I don't want to get so specific as to say also were in some G.I. Joe relation, but so they were guests on the show, and so they were on the set where you loved them from something else. Any cool?
We had Nathan Fillion recurring last season.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to meet him?
Not really. I saw him at the table read. He was very entertaining.
Is he cool?
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
How can she defeat her while she's seen?
And of course Nathan Fillion from Firefly, and the name that every single geek throws out there when you say, "Hey, who should play this character?"
Exactly.
Inevitably, on every message board, someone says Nathan Fillion. It's like invoking Hitler in the argument. Instead, it's Nathan Fillion.
He plays everybody.
Yeah. Who should play a Star-Lord? Nathan Fillion. Who should play Luke Skywalker's son? Nathan Fillion. Who should play Roadblock in the next live-action movie? Nathan Fillion. Who should play Golobulus? Nathan Fillion.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. That's his name. What are your plans with your new figures? Now that you have them out here?
I don't know.
Are you going to get cases for them? You're going to put them on display? You're going to play with them?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe I will play.
You know what I would
them.
love? I would love for you to slip them into Phil Dunphy's place in Modern Family.
They're just going to show up on the show.
Yeah, show up on the show. Maybe not Phil Dunphy, but because he's our age, so he would have had him as a kid.
Yeah.
I want you to propose. This is their final season, right?
No, we have another season.
Yeah,
after
you have
this.
another season. Okay. This
might be my final season.
That is for the US of A, everybody. US of A. US of A. I want you to propose that Phil Dunphy was a big G.I. Joe fan.
Okay.
And he finds his own jokes on this. That's what I want. That's what I want.
We'll see what we can do
Can we
about
make that happen?
We'll see what we can do.
Awesome. Matt Plossman, where can we find you online?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. Awesome. Even better. What do you got coming up that we can look forward to writing-wise?
I am working on what's turning into a novel at this point, and I have a novella that's almost done.
I can't wait to read it. Are you going to release those on like Amazon, Kindle stuff?
I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet.
But I know you're going to watch more G.I. Joe. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Always. Correct and always. Awesome. Matt, thank you so much for being on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Awesome. All right, everybody. That's Matt Plossman. Oh, wait. Whoa. Matt, you need a name.
I almost got away.
You almost got away. Oh, my God. You need a name. What's your name? What's your deal?
I'm going to be Retro.
Retro.
I'm a G.I. Joe. I'm specifically on your favorite, the resurrected Battle Force 2000.
Yes! So you're Battle Force 2000, and you're what? You're like the retro. What do you do?
As they are on all of their futuristic weaponry, all their experimental futuristic weaponry, I'm the guy who has to remember how to use the old weapons for when they all malfunction on the field.
Awesome.
And then my secondary specialty, and this is actually more important, is to control the playlist on DJ's speaker backpack.
Yes!
No EDM. That's friendly fire.
No EDM.
People.
No EDM. EDM will get you killed. EDM will get you killed.
Yes.
That is so true. That's absolutely true. I love it. Matt, Retro, thank you for being on Joe on Joe. Everybody, Retro, everybody. Retro, everybody. And can I get, I would like to real quick invite Mr. Alex Tortora to join the hot seat. Alex, why don't you come on over?
Behold, the pods have matured. There is no way to stop the
Real quick, jump on there. We're in the finish line. Alex, welcome to Joe on Joe. Since you've been on the show, many things have happened in your life.
Many things.
You've been on Veep.
Yes.
What else?
Emmy award winning
Veep. I like to think
Sorry,
that
Matt.
I like to. Yeah. Well,
Jesus Christ.
According to Dave's children, Modern Family should have won.
This
Matt.
just got really awkward.
Oh my God.
Oh, great way to start us off.
I know, right? I love it.
Bitter revenge.
I love it so much. Alex, how have you been?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah. Have you been watching any more G.I. Joe since last?
I have not.
But we talk about it a lot at the show, though. At the shop.
All the time. You are our Joe expert, as was evidence
yesterday.
yesterday, whipping out all the books for this one family, and man, they went away so happy.
One of our customers yesterday made the mistake of telling me that his son is into military comics, and I had him sold on all the G.I. Joe books until I finally had to come clean and go, I just need to tell you, I run it. I felt like a newscaster saying, like, just so we're clear, we're owned by a subsidiary of Fox Network. Because I was like, buy every G.I. Joe book there is, just so you know I run a G.I. Joe podcast.
Yeah, and the kid could care less, and he was like, oh, cool. Yeah. The dad was like, no way.
Yeah, because 10 minutes earlier, the dad said, quote, those old cartoons were terrible. Who wants to watch those? And I'm like, you just wait till I spring this on you. I'm waiting for the right moment to spring this on you, dude.
But you could see the secret.
You might even be listening right now.
Maybe,
I gave him a card.
Hey, dude, good job on you. You got your kid some great stuff.
Some great comic books, yeah.
Like, that is a good find. No, but I was going to say, because I think he was more surprised where he was like, wow, like, that's awesome. I would bet some money that he probably went home tonight or the other night. Yeah. Alone, wife is in bed, kids in bed. He picks up the laptop and he watches his favorite episodes because he knows, he saw.
Yeah, he knows.
Come out of his coma. Looks like we made it. Then Doc says Duke's gonna be A-OK.
So look, we learned that Duke did not get killed.
He did not get killed.
Duke's gonna live.
As opposed to what you were telling me yesterday, where
Duke really was supposed to die.
Was supposed to die.
Yeah,
it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay. Oh, there was tongues. There was tongues there.
Who is that guy?
That was Jinx and Falcon, voiced by Don Johnson himself.
He looks like my older brother.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, there was tongue on Jinx.
It was the 80s.
Even though he harassed her early.
Wow.
We don't have a ton of time to spend with you, unfortunately.
Oh, that's fine. Kick me right out.
We're wrapping up. No. But where can we look for your work? Where can we look for you?
I will let everyone know right now.
Do you have an actors page or?
Yeah, you can check out my
Instagram
website.
Or Twitter or anything?
Atort18 on Instagram, and you can check out my website. Well, I got nothing at the moment, but I'm coming up with stuff. Struggling actor type stuff.
Here's something cool. For fans who watch America's Got Talent.
Oh, no, it was The Voice. My cousin was on The Voice.
Watch The Voice. Your cousin was on The Voice. What was her name?
Lily Passero.
Lily Passero. So if you're out there listening and you watch The Voice, his cousin was Lily Passero. Very talented family.
Yeah, we did a play. We talked about it.
Yeah. Very talented family.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see what happens.
Awesome. Well, Alex, thank you so much. I'm going to slide you out of the hot seat here for a second.
Really?
Yeah, really. Yeah, you're done. You're done here.
You forgot.
Oh, my God. Wait a minute. You're right.
And now I called you out. And this is exactly why my character will be truly the best.
So what's your name?
Sir.
Yeah. What's your character name?
I am part of Cobra.
Okay.
Or I am Cobra, and my name is the Generalissimo.
Generalissimo.
With a couple S's.
They're tearing down your statues all over the South. And what's your specialty?
I'm the super secret evil bad guy.
You're the secret evil bad guy.
You know, like there's always like kind of like Darth Vader, but it's the Emperor that's like in charge.
Yeah.
I am totally running the whole show.
I love it.
Cobra Commander, they have to team up with Joe to take me down.
Generalissimo. I love it. Generalissimo, everybody. Generalissimo. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me,
Alex,
Joe.
Thank you
much
for being
appreciated.
a part of the show, bro.
Love it,
brother. Awesome.
Bro hugs.
Oh, Shirley, you love the Generalissimo too. Julius Pantera, come on over. Julius Pantera, welcome to Joe on Joe. We're going to be real quick because we're out of time here. You are the Cobra.
I'm the Chancellor.
You're the Chancellor Pantera.
I'm Chancellor.
And so
I'm the figurehead.
So since we last spoke, you were out in the East Coast doing some traveling.
I was over dealing with girlfriend issues.
Oh, we don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
Literally don't want to get into that. But you're thinking about moving to? You're thinking about getting a place in New Orleans? Or?
I want to buy a place. I'm just like saying, the hell with this. I'm just going to retire.
You're just going to retire?
I'm just going to take my military disability pay and just say, the hell with it all. I don't need any of you. I'm going to be just drinking and smoking my cigars.
That sounds like a plan to me. That sounds like a real plan. So, G.I. Joe, the movie, when did you first see it?
You know what? When I was, I think it was 8 years old, I didn't even know about that they made a movie. It was like on a Sunday, and they said, G.I. Joe, coming next, G.I. Joe, the movie. It's like, okay, and then I'm watching this.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like, there's going to be another season of, like, what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And, of course, sadly, there was no season until a year or two later. The DIC.
Yeah, and then it ruined you.
Oh, it ruined it.
And it ruined it for you. What did you think of? So now, like watching as an adult, you know, you watch as you saw.
Oh, it's great nostalgia.
Yeah,
it's great nostalgia. But now I'm a bigger fan of the comic book.
Yeah. What are you currently reading the IDW?
I'm reading like the older stuff. And the last time I bought like currently was the Devil's Due stuff.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the way it ended with World War III.
What were your like big favorites of the cartoon, like character-wise?
Oh, Snake Eyes.
Snake
Eyes.
Storm Shadow. He wasn't on much. It's weird. Storm Shadow just showed up in one of the second season episodes, like as a background character, because they were doing Ninja Holiday, and he just shows up, and it's just like, oh, we forgot we have a ninja. Let's include him.
I just loved it. I love the whole concept. It's like, here's a guy. He's got a sword. He doesn't talk.
Yeah, and he's a ninja who wears all white, so you know he's gonna blend in the shadows for sure.
I love that. It's the fact I was always interested, like how they mixed it up with him and Spirit.
Yeah.
As the rivals in the show.
Well, because they needed a rival that could talk.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, Julius, we have to cut you short. We have to cut you short. We're running out of time.
It happens.
We're running out of time, but thank you so much for joining us.
Grateful
Joe
to
and Joe. Julius, Chancellor Pantera, everybody. Chancellor Pantera.
It looks like I'm out of the job. So if any evil organization is hiring a propagandist, I'd be happy to send over my resume.
Awesome. Bring it. And finally, we get Mr. Paul Galliano. Paul, join us, please. Paul, we just finished watching the movie.
Yes.
We have this fantastic crew of fellow Joe fans here.
Yeah, some nice commentary out there.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts? So you're a little younger. So when you were first getting into Joe, this was already a thing. This was already out there on VHS, right?
I think so. Yeah, because I know
it came out in '87.
Yeah, I caught it probably. I think I can't remember the first time that I watched it. I think it was VHS because I didn't know about it. I just, kind of got into the series and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I remember being excited, and then as I got into the story, then I hated it, because...
You hated it?
Well, look, here, let me rephrase it. I like it.
And then he showed up.
Look, I like it because I'm a fan of Joe, but I hated how Cobra Commander was treated. More than anything, I'm a Cobra Commander guy.
Paul's a huge Cobra. Paul cosplays as Cobra Commander.
So, and then, the way they handled him in this, I was devastated. Yes, exactly. Like, why does he deserve this heinous disrespect? But honestly, what I realized is that he's just constantly the scapegoat. That's why Serpentor agrees to keep him around in the series, is because he says, when they find out you're not as great as they say or think, you're going to need someone to blame.
Right.
Serpentor says you're right. He brings him on board the Night Raven with him. They fly out of D.C. And then here, now Globulus is using him as his scapegoat. Because one of you guys brought up, I forget who said it exactly, but he's just been chilling under the Ice Dome for thousands of years. Just be like, well, let's see how this goes. And then, okay, so now he's going to blame Cobra Commander for failure.
And
that's
BS. Let's look at what Cobra Commander did. So this was also cool, though, because we get Cobra Commander's over.
For the record, he does team up with the Joes to stop them, so he can accurately blame them.
Well, to stop this plan, you're correct.
What would you do after they treat you that way?
Right, I agree. So,
I'm just responding to what you said.
Let's
after that,
do it a little bit. So Globulus, he has a scientist who's horribly disfigured himself, and he's like, all right, well, you're going to be my zealot. By the way, we have grape soda and chocolate donuts.
I noticed
so
that.
Make sure you get some.
I've already enjoyed the chocolate donuts. Grape soda's next.
He sends him out into the world. Now, we've seen Cobra Commander for 2 seasons of Cobra. At no point did we ever see any flying mantises, any giant creatures, like alien, like any Cobra Law technology. Therefore, I'm assuming he sent him out in the world with maybe a couple bucks, and that's it.
Yeah.
So really, how much support did Daddy Globulus give him?
Thank you.
I like to think that Cobra Commander achieved a whole heck of a lot to then get thrown under the bus in the movie.
Seriously.
Pythona was his ex.
Who's ex?
Pythona was Cobra Commander's ex.
And she's got sour grapes.
And she got sour grapes. And then she saw pictures of Serpentor, and she says, you know what, I could trade up.
Always the woman's fault.
And influence Globulus to say, let's get rid of this guy so I can be with this other guy.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Look.
You're always working. I'm working for us. Keep us in this apartment. You can't afford a 2-seater trouble bubble on this salary.
But that's the thing.
She was probably complaining about the manicurist.
Serpentor had his whole season 2 to try to prove himself then. Also to no avail. Yet he's greeted like the return of the prodigal son by Globulus, and it's like, really? I just no. Cobra Commander got a raw deal.
He did get a raw deal.
And plus, no alien crap. He's a used car salesman that is charismatic, and knows how to rally people behind him.
Well, listen, So if I'm at Marvel and I need to work this into continuity, he leaves Cobra Law, then becomes the car salesman. I could see that because he needs to at some point integrate himself into society.
Yeah, right. And the extra eyes that might turn people off from buying a used car. I don't know. But
well, wait a minute. In the cartoon continuity, listen, they have lifelike Mission Impossible masks all the time.
Oh yeah.
People are ripping fake faces off.
Ooh, good
constantly.
point.
So that technology is pretty common in this universe.
Okay.
So Cobra Commander would easily be able to get one of those masks and just go to work every day. Sure, he's got to sell cars. Hey, players got to play. Paul Galliano, the SAC, special assistant to Cobra Commander. I like to think that you were the guy who finds him in the snake form and you nurse him back to health so he can come back to the DSE show.
That's totally part of my job. Because remember, I'm there for him, whatever he needs, and I get him back so that he can return.
Paul, where can we find you on social media?
I am at the Paul G on Instagram and Twitter, and on both of those you'll find links to find me elsewhere online.
Any shows coming up that you're
in? Yeah,
this will be airing. probably like at the end of October.
Well, this is perfect because season 2 of my Amazon show premieres in November.
What?
There
What's
you
the name of the
go.
show?
It's called Now What?
Now What? Check it out on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Shirley's a big fan.
Oh, obviously.
Shirley's a big fan of Now What. Paul, thank you so much for being a part of the Joe and Joe
Hey,
family.
man, thank you for having me here.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
And finally, I would like to invite 6-time Joe and Joe veteran. This would be 7. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought I had the record.
No. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Rebecca Wallensack, a.k.a. Toilet Teal.
I wore a khaki shirt in honor.
So, Rebecca, I know. I'm gonna ask the question that every man in this room is thinking.
How were you so lucky to get me?
Who's your favorite G.I. Joe?
Drum blocks. What are they called?
Roadblock?
No, the weirdo rocker one.
Oh, the Dreadnoughts.
Dreadnoughts. Yeah, that's what I meant. Dreadnoughts. The drum blocks.
Give it up for Cold Slither, everybody. Cold Slither.
I am a huge fan. I know everything about G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Everything. And any of the storylines.
Do you so you've watched 6 episodes?
Yeah.
You've gone through about 6 episodes. Have you did you have any favorites that you were a fan of?
When
So you like the
next to
romantic
my
ones? So
husband.
you like Memories of Mara?
Sure. I loved it. It was very good. And
Computer
it was
Complications
watery.
had the romance with Mainframe and Zorana.
Mhm.
Yep. Spell the Siren with all the women took over.
Well, I like that.
Yeah.
It's dreamy.
Lasers in the Night, I think, had a romantic. That had a romantic.
And late.
Yeah,
This
Quick
is
and
mine, Paul. Do you want to do a hand slap again, or do you want a lady to have a little bit of time? Don't Joe block me. Drink that grape soda. Jesus, son of a bite.
So now you've watched the
He's
movie.
a bossy Joe lover.
He's assistant. He's a Cobra Commander's assistant.
I don't give a crap. You can go and be sack. I'm going to clean up the bathrooms like a good Polish girl should.
Yeah, I mean Cobra Commander's assistant.
So you picked the Dreadnoughts are your favorite characters from there, but as far as the characters in this room, the characters that Joe has asked us to come up with, Sack, Toilet Teal, etc., etc.
Deep dish.
Favorite out of that?
Deep dish.
Yeah.
Deep dish.
I sleep with deep dish.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
I know it's right.
She's experienced Deep Dish's night sweats.
And at dinner it's meat sweat.
Meat sweats. Deep Dish has that's my action figure special move. He has a sweat for every occasion.
It's very sexy.
Yeah.
And then I clean, so
Yeah, like Cobra Khan. Like the Masters of the Universe Cobra Khan. Yeah.
I wash the sheets after, like
Totally.
a good little cleaner.
So did you notice like the animation better on this on the
Yeah,
movie?
this does seem better, and their eyes aren't as creepy. Like they have whites in their eyes actually,
Yeah.
as opposed to like that. Like see, they're white. They're not the same color as their skin. And you told me why it had to do with budget and that kind of stuff. Why so they didn't have that like that weird like
Yeah,
Scooby Doo. They
right.
had it that way too, where
Yeah.
they didn't have whites in their eyes and stuff, and that
Right.
freaks me out. You know me and animal faces and people with
so
skin-colored eyes.
that's the thing with Cobra La with all the snake stuff. Like, did that give you any of the heebie-jeebies?
No, because their faces don't look like snakes. Like they're still people, but they wear snake stuff.
Right.
If they actually had, like cartoons don't scare me. It's real people. It's the musical Cats. That's what it is.
Okay. I also
and
like,
I'm afraid
I like
of
the
it.
sentence, cartoons don't scare you. I think that's an important sentence.
Cartoons don't scare me.
That's an
Don't
important
scare
lesson.
Me.
It's an important
don't
lesson
scare
for
me.
everybody.
I'm an adult. I adult very well.
Well, Rebecca, thank you not only for being on the show, but for tolerating the show.
Barely.
For supporting me, and all you listeners don't understand. None of this would be possible without the support and love of Rebecca Wallensack-Slepsky. So let's give it up for Toilet Teal.
You did very well. You did very, very well. You get an A+ for husbanding.
Thank you. For husbandry, I've been breeding animals.
Husbanding. We're not talking about husbandry on this episode.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of our show. Thank you all so much. I appreciate the time, the energy, the effort, the love.
There's a lot of masculinity
There's
here.
a lot of masculinity here, and I'm good. And the grub, yeah, we got plenty of food left, so please stick around. Maybe we'll throw in some more episodes of Joe.
We will be so lucky.
Oh my God, my wife would love that.
I can't wait.
Thank
and we'll
you.
snuggle and play with each other's hair too.
Thank every one of you, and most of all, thank you, listeners. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here today because I wouldn't have done it because I would have been like, "Hey, Rebecca, no one listens to my show," and she would have replied,
"Welcome to my world."
Yes, pretty much.
I don't know how that counts. I don't know if that really works.
Well, listen, all of you. Now you Joe, and Joeing is half the battle.
Yeah! Yo, Joe!